All right, now we want to get NVM and NPM and Node installed on our computer. The first step is that we've got to go visit this webpage. This webpage is github.com nvm-sh/nvm. So get your web browser, open up that webpage. We're going to be copying and pasting an important command out of this, out of the README down here. And we also need to have our terminal. Now, before you get started, make sure that you've got your VM running. I already have my Ubuntu VM running. And, oops, wrong button. Sorry, folks. And I have got the wrong window open again. Sorry, is this one? I've already got it running and it's ready to go. But I'm not going to use the console to do my work. I'm just going to leave this alone and I'm going to use my terminal, my macOS terminal right here. And I'm going to use SSH to log into the computer. This is the same. If you don't remember how to find the IP address, remember you could log in here on the console and the IP address will be right there. With that IP address copied and saved someplace, you can now type it out over here with your login, type in your password, and here we are signed into our very own Ubuntu computer. Now this is the same Ubuntu computer VM that we just created in the previous videos. I want to install something. I want to install something so I can have NVM over here on my VM so that I can, use Node and use NPM. To do this, I'm going to use one of these two commands. This works great for Linux, works great for Ubuntu, which is Linux, works great for macOS. With Windows, not so much. If you want to do it with Windows, you got to do a slightly different way. One option is to use the Windows subsystem for Linux. And I'm not going to cover that in this video, but you can install the Windows subsystem for Linux, and then you can follow the same instructions. So, Linux users, Mac users, no problem. Now, if you have a Mac or Windows, you can definitely use a VM like I'm doing here. And I'm going to select one of them. Now, curl and wget are just command line. They're kind of like web browsers. They fetch a URL. Now, this is a URL. It's a link that goes to a file called install.sh. It's going to be a script that's a series of commands that are going to be piped into another program called bash. Bash is our shell. This is something that's quite risky because we have to have faith that whatever's inside that script is safe to run. If somebody you don't trust or you don't know says, oh yeah, just do this and pipe this into bash or just run in bash or whatever, be cautious. You don't want to just accept any commands and run any commands on your computer. You don't know what you're installing. In this case, we can say we've got a high degree of certainty that this is a safe program to do because there's a large community of people that use this and it's unlikely that it's going to do any harm to our computer. So we can use either one. If you want to check but verify first, you can check to see if you've got wget installed on your computer. You can check to see if you've got curl installed on your computer. As you can see on mine, both of them are installed. I'll just use wget and I'll paste it. Now, on a Linux system, if you're using a real Linux system, not a Macintosh with a VM, the copy and paste won't work with a Control-C and Control-V. You have to push Shift-Control-C and Shift-Control-V. You can always just use the drop-down menu and click paste. But the nice thing about using macOS or Windows as your host and having Ubuntu as the VM is when you use your terminal to log in, you can use the same keyboard shortcut. So here I am pushing Command V to paste, and it works nicely because my terminal understands Mac commands. So once I pasted this and I'm logged into my Linux VM, and I hit enter, it's going to think for a second and it's going to modify some files on my computer. It's going to modify specifically the .bashrc file in my home directory. This is a file that gets executed every time you log in. So by changing this, it's modifying your environment. So now you're going to have access to the NVM command. Now to ensure that this is going to work correctly, I'm going to log out first. And then I'm going to log back in. And now if I type nvm-h, you're going to see that I've got the NVM command there. Now let's start by let's install Node. If I say NVM install, let's do the right now, March 2026, version 24 is the LTS release of Node. So I'll say install 24. It's going to download Node, unpack it, put it into my computer. And if everything worked out okay, I should be able to say node-v, and it should tell me I've got Node installed. I want the npm to see if it's installed. I say npm-v, and it should tell me I've got that release installed. So now that I've got Node and npm installed, I'm off to the races. I can do all sorts of other fun stuff.